every little morsel of room, and you find out your accuracy is nothing pretty quick, no matter how well you think you can hit it. Well, he's done very nice here.
Oh, there's the definition of ugly.
As long as it doesn't go in.
Well, one thing about it, you know, with it being over the pocket like that, you can see the situation with the cue ball in the 8.
Yeah, he's
not quite touching, but
that cuts off the easy one-rail kick, though. And it's not even that easy because the 5 and the 9 are both in the way of the side, you know, that side rail kick, the right-hand side rail kick.
I'm just wondering if the 2 cushion escape is available, but he's going to be cueing over the 8.
Cueing over the 8.
He's having a look at it. The 5 may take that away.
Well, you know, the point maker might be able to exemplify what you were talking about with a 2 cushion escape.
Well, if he comes in at a very acute angle into here, if he can get a little bit of spin, he's got to go between the 5 and the 9.
I think it's safe to say that was an excellent shot.
I think that's pretty close. He's got to hit. He's got to hit, to me, it looks between the 1st and 2nd diamond away from the right-hand side, because that's the path that the cue ball has to take. So again, he's almost got to look at this in reverse. If I was Oliver, I'd come in and line up where the 3 is.
He's looking to shoot over top of this.
He's going to bounce over the 8. He's going to bounce over the 8 off the cushion. He's still going to miss the 4. Tell you what, that would have been a circus shot if that one would have been accomplished.
Well, Israel Rota earned cue ball in hand on that shot.
Yeah, you know, that was the type of shot I'd like to have seen Oliver come and stand where the 3 is and see if the 2 cushion hit to where the cue ball was available. Almost play the shot in reverse, the escape in reverse, because it may or may not have been on.
You know, that's one of my favorite things, Jim. I often tell people, look at the first rail in reverse to where you want to go to, and that's your point of aim coming off the first cushion that you have to hit. You know, and that way you can get a pretty accurate idea of what you're coming into.
Well, he was trying to go over the 8, and here you can see the way he's cueing. He's using the cushion. He's got to go over the edge of the 8, and then he's got to go between the 4 and the cushion. And if he would have put that shot together, that would have been one we'd have been shown on the highlight reel for the rest of the tournament. Maybe for the rest of the year.
That's what I was going to say. Maybe for a few years after that. Yeah. Boy, Pat's got a beautiful video collection of shots not unlike that, too. Well, Rota's in the driver's seat now. There really appears to be no reason that he shouldn't be up 7-1 after this cleaning of the table here.
Oh, the dry break in this rack doesn't prove to have been a stumbling block for Rota. But the very good snooker that he played on Oliver Ortmann, the 2 cushion escape, the kick, and leaving that cue ball behind the 8. Well, that was the shot. Well, the 9 follows the same storyline as it has for the 6 racks before this one, the 7th, but it's a 7-1 advantage, Israel Rota over Oliver Ortmann. And he, you know, I went on record and said that Ortmann came into this match as the prohibitive favorite, given his experience over Rota in match situations like this, but a 7-1 advantage.
You know, I'll tell you something one of my good friends, Sherm Adamson, told me. He said, Billy, if you're smart, you never bet against a Filipino.
Good advice. Rack number 9. Israel Rota in complete control of this match. And right now, it's his to win or lose. Nine into the side. Now, I don't know if
That counts.
that's a rack win. It's only the 2 bottom corners, so a perfect break. 9 into the side. Rota's just checking with one of our floor managers, and that's a rack win. Wow.
8-1.
And that was kicked straight into the side pocket. Watch it again. The 2 straight into the side, and the 2 into the opposite side.
Did you notice that the 1 was heading straight for the side pocket as well, and the 1 ball knocked the cue ball out of scratching? Could we have one more look at that? I'd like to see that one more time. Watch the cue ball here, Jim. The cue ball's heading right for a path towards the side pocket. Look at this. Bumped out by the 1.
Yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Everything going good, Mum, send more money. Israel Rota, 8-1 over Oliver Ortmann. And Ortmann, a very pained expression on his face as Rota settles into the break here. Rack number 10. And cue ball staying on the table.
But I don't believe he made anything this time, did he?
Even though almost every ball is at the far end of the table. And a quick result from one of the outside tables. Alex Pagulayan, 11-0. A winner in his first round. He was one of the seeded players, so actually it's round 2, but it was his first match. So a confident win for Pagulayan with a new cue, an OBQ that he just picked up upon his arrival here in Virginia Beach. I think he likes it.
I'll bet he does now.
Yeah, Oliver, just not a lot happening right for him right now.
Well, I think Roto's going to have to play safe here, Jim. I don't think he's got really much he can do with the 2 and the 3 up there. He'd have a carom, but there's really nothing to do with the 1 to get to it. So I'd like to shoot the 1 ball like I was banking it towards the side and bring the cue ball off that side rail and put it behind the 9, maybe stop it. Put it behind the 7, but maybe even stop it on the 9 and use the 6 for the intersecting ball. He can do that. He went for the hardest way to get there and got a piece of it.
And got there. He's got the cue ball behind the 3. And a very tough escape here for Oliver.
Again.
Yeah, I don't know whether or not that 5 is in the way of a 3 cushion hit. Oliver's having a look at it off the first cushion. So this is going to be a 3 cushion hit. He's got to miss the 5 and hit that 1 off the left-hand cushion.
Very nicely done. Did he get fortunate and get it behind something? Looks like the 6 could have got there, but didn't quite. And I think he may have left the 1-3 possibly.
Yeah, Oliver thinks so. Again, shaking his head as he walks to his chair.
You know what, Jim? Looking at it from where I'm at up here in the booth, I can see the table. It almost looks as though he can shoot the 1 into the 2 and glance that ball right into the corner, glance the 3 right into the corner pocket. It's very close. Hit this with a little pop, too. You want to get the cue ball out of there. No, he hit it slowly. That's why I didn't like hitting it slowly. I wanted to hit a little harder to get that ball out of the way. You know, now he's got problems. I don't like this.
Well, the only way he'll make it is if he hits as much of the 1 as he can see off that cushion. I mean, catching it thin, that one has to hang around that corner pocket.
Has to. And the other thing about it is he can easily hit the 2 coming into this. Even if he doesn't and he hits the 1 and leaves it over there, what's he got when he's done? If he even makes the 1, he may be behind the 8.
Well, he's going to be jumping. That much we can rest assured of. And this will be a tricky little jump shot. That cue ball's very close to the 7, so he's really going to have to elevate here.
Well, this is the kind of shot you want to dart jump. You don't want to really stroke jump this, and that's what he's going for, the dart jump. He started making his motion right away, so he's dart jumping here.
I like that. Dart jumping.
Yeah, you shoot it like throwing darts. I learned that from one of the gentlemen that's back there sitting by Pat Fleming, Chris Renfro.
Yeah, so much for the dart jump. He's gone back to his playing. Now he's going to do the dart kick.
Well, you know, if you have the right cue with a light enough front end, that dart jump from there is absolutely nothing. That's a piece of cake. Hard to believe, but true. It's kind of, that was probably the best he could have done right there out of what he had to work with. The 1 ball rolled out a little bit, but out of his options, that might not be bad. Remember when Sammy Jones used to do that prop bet where he put the balls right next to each other and jump off the end rail and make the ball? That was dart jumping with a shaft, you know, just shaft jumping.
I was pretty impressed with the shot that Israel Rota just played. What a nice touch he showed.
That was
just
the best
feathering the 1. And when you see your opponent play shots like that, I think you want to try and stay away from the tactical exchanges.
Well, I don't think Oliver had a lot of choice there, though. He had to play safe, didn't he? This is a 2-rail kick for sure, right? Kick that 1, spin off this first rail.
No, it's a jump.
He went for the jump cue. Man, I think Oliver will be a little bit happier with this particular leave.
Not that easy.
Better than his last one by far. He may be able to stop that cue ball on the 7 too.
Yeah, it's just being able to get at this to comfortably bridge. Look at this. That looks awkward even the way Oliver shoots it, but boy, he did a good job. And now just back up to the middle of the table for the 4.
Well, this is Oliver's got a real good chance to get out here.
And I'll tell you, there will be no quit in this guy either. He is a fighter. And he loves to compete.
Came up a little poorly on that. I really don't like where he's at now.
Well, he deserved a better fate. That was a great shot on the 5. And the full ball hit on the 4 takes him out of position. So a defense only from here. Either the 6 or the cue ball will be heading towards that 9.
Good call. And pretty good speed.
And not the toughest safety in the world for Israel Rota here. He can use that 9 to hold the 6 by that 1 diamond.
And I like going that way for that very reason. Hitting the thin side of the 6 on the left-hand side and going into the 9. The 9 may move, but the 6 is going to stay right there. So he can bring that cue ball just with his collision angle right down to the end rail where the 8 is.
I'll tell you what, if he happens to
Where the
catch
chalk
it a little
is.
thick, he could make the 9 in the right-hand corner. He's had a look at that. I really don't think he's trying the combination here. I think he's just looking for the thin hit on the 6.
Well, he can play both ends of it, like you say, no problem. He's got every opportunity to play both ends of it. The 9 ball will probably come out by the first diamond there on the side rail, would be my guess if he hits this right.
Yeah, nice shot. Nice cue ball, nice 6 ball, and a perfect result. And all Oliver can do is kick at this off the side cushion.
Yeah, that was a good call on your part on Oliver's last shot when you said, I don't think I'd like to get into a safety exchange with this guy. Anything technical, you aren't likely to maybe get the best of it. Kind of looks that way at this point.
Yeah, you see another Filipino-born player coming across the Atlantic. And
Well,
just another one of many great players.
Yeah, they take the game seriously, obviously, because they have the right attitude and have the right shots when they're needed.
I did an event over there, a couple events there last year. Thousands of people cramming in to see their heroes.
Well, nice hit there, but I don't think he's going to be rewarded totally for it. Well, the other thing, when you try to teach a young player, they almost never think safety has any value. And, you know, they always want to shoot at the pocket. And one thing I always say is, I'll tell you what, I'll bet you any amount of money on a theoretical team. You can have any football team you want from any era. With Joe Montana at the helm, the 49ers, whatever, I'll take any team you pick against them as long as you don't have any defense and I have all offense and you have all offense but no defense and I have offense and defense. I don't think you win that.
Well, he's missed the 6. And I think the score, it was a tough shot. I think the score dictated what Israel Rota did there, attacking a tricky 6. But from this position, if Oliver doesn't win this rack, he might as well mail in the rest of his shots.
No, I think he'll get out here. I don't think there'll be any problem here. Surely not. He just needs to get his angle to get on the 9 here. Came up a little far. Boy, that's tough. That's really 50-yard line. He's got to force follow this, I believe. Beautiful shot.
Yeah, he's on the right table for a shot like that, that's for sure. On a club table, it's a little slower and beat up. That shot's real tough. But Oliver gets the 9, and finally he gets to slide a bead over. Israel Rota took the last 8 in a row. Broke the last 7 in a row. So finally stemming the tide, Oliver Ortmann. For the 3rd time in the match, gets to break. He won the leg. But he's still got a heck of a deficit to try and overhaul. 8-2, the score at this point in the match. The machine needs to find another gear. Trailing 8-2 to Israel Rota. And set to break rack number 11.
He didn't scratch. 4 ball may go.
Yeah, thankfully, because a chance at a billiard here.
Really good one. And with the 6-8 the way it is, 6-8-7, I'm shooting here 100% for the 9.
Yeah, I think Oliver will too. He's coming around to have a look at the path he wants the cue ball to take into the 9. But I know he'd far rather be shooting this than letting Rota shoot it. But a chance to win a rack quickly, and psychologically, that's just what he needs. And there it is, a quick rack for Oliver Ortmann. Oh, the doctor's orders. 8-3 now. He's got the break in the next. Well, you'd like to find the purple patch on the table, start breaking and knocking a few balls in. But a tricky little billiard from Oliver Ortmann there, and worth another look. That's a sweet sight when you're a pool player. You know you've hit it good. Eight, 3, rack 12. Like nothing better than to see an instant replay of the last.
Rota really didn't look too happy with that last rack. Sitting there with a little befuddled look on his face in the chair. And Ortmann's come up dry again, I believe, right?
Yeah, not happy. The only insurance policy for Oliver is the 3 next to the 5 over on the right-hand cushion. Already, Israel Rota has made himself aware of that.
Looks like he's trying to get an angle to come off the 2, shooting that in the side and get over there.
That's exactly what he's doing, Bill. He needs the perfect angle on the 2, and he's run too far.
Yeah, he's come a little long.
Yeah, it's a little too straight. It looks like. Can he force this a little bit and just try and develop that 3? He's got just a fraction of angle.
He's looking at that. He's really got to pound it if he shoots that, though.
Yeah, pretty good effort. If he had just left himself, about 4 inches short of where he was, he'd have been able to float the cue ball into these and been able to play it with a little bit more control.
Looks like he's looking at taking the cue ball over to that other the adjacent side rail above the side pocket, over on top of the 7 and the 8. But I don't know where the 3 ball goes if you do that. He can get past the 4, but he may touch it. Well, he used it to stop on. I think he's left Oliver a window.
Yeah, but the 3 doesn't go. He has, but a tough safety here for Ortmann.
Well, he's on the rail. That cuts out just the hit and stop. But he may be able to drive that 3 2 rails out of that corner